YouTube? What is up? Bobby C here. Happy Thanksgiving. It's the day after, so happy belated Thanksgiving. Hope you guys had a blessed day with family yesterday and things didn't get too crazy in terms of crowd control and, stress around COVID and stuff like that. So crazy times we're living in right now. But with that said, I want to quickly talk about a very special revolver that I have. And it was something that I sent out about 1.5 years ago to a gunsmith out of Ohio named Dave Laubert, who owns Defensive Creations. Dave is one of the nicest guys that I have dealt with in the gunsmithing world. He's a member of the Pistolsmith Guild, and the guy is just a super solid gunsmith who has an expertise from anything between 1911s all the way to revolver work. He's been doing, FAL stuff in the past. He's done a ton of AK work in the past. And, with that said, he's willing to almost take on what seems like any project that is out there. And I totally appreciate that, because these days, finding a well-rounded gunsmith who's not completely specialized in one aspect of the business is really hard. The other thing that's difficult is finding a gunsmith who has their books open, who doesn't have a extremely long wait list, meaning 4+ years, and who's willing to actually have a conversation about what you specifically want done, why that project makes sense, and then if it doesn't make sense, some of the changes that they would recommend. So Dave's just outstanding. Again, I got nothing but praise for him, nothing but love for him. We've worked together on a handful of projects now. He's got another project at his shop, and I can't wait to get that back. And when I do, I'll put up another video. But with that said, I did want to walk you through this Manurhin MR73 police trade-in that I got, a couple years back, and I finally sent it over to him, and we worked through some things and hashed out some details. And ultimately, I just told him, hey man, you are the artist. Here's the parameters. Go do your thing. The project is well documented online. I'll put links in the description so you guys can go look at, specific pictures and progress work and all that kind of stuff, just to see the level of detail and the level of craftsmanship that Dave put into this particular project. So big shout out to him, big props. Can't say enough about, the whole experience overall. Just awesome. Before I show you the finished revolver that Dave did for me, for those folks that have not done a YouTube search for Manurhin MR73, or who have not Google searched Manurhin MR73, or you don't know what the gun's all about or the revolver's all about, I'm going to show you a stock one that I have. Some of the things that I think are really cool about it. I'm not going to get into history of GIGN and special police force or any of that stuff. I'm just going to show you a stock, old school, out of the Manurhin factory in France revolver, what it looks like, some of the things that I think are cool, and then the gun that Dave did for me, some of the changes that he made to the revolver, and we'll go from there. So with that said, factory stock Manurhin MR73 with a set of aftermarket nil grips on it. Before I go any further, this gun is completely clear. No issues there. So we're ready to roll with the video. So as you can see, first thing that jumps out, at least to me, is the beauty of the revolver. That deep blue, almost royal blue, Python-like finish that everybody has become familiar with and love about the Python, or at least the old school Pythons. When people see this revolver in person, they freak out. They're like, damn, dude, that finish is amazing. The gun in hand feels perfectly balanced. It's awesome. Add the nil grips to it, and it makes it even better. So this is a target version of the MR73, which means you have the adjustable rear sights. You have a little bit different front sight, and they made 3 different front sights for this particular model. So it's just kind of, whatever one you got, or whatever one you can find, you kind of got to roll with. So with that said, 4-inch barrel. These parts, it's hard to kind of see, but you can see the strawing on the hammer and the trigger, and just that deep royal blue. These guns were tested, they're legendary for the amount of stress and abuse that you can put through them. But overall, all in all, this looks very Smith & Wesson-like. It's just not a Smith & Wesson. So this has, a roller bearing inside underneath the side plate, which makes the trigger just the smoothest trigger that I've ever felt on any revolver. This particular trigger on this gun reminds me a lot of like a CZ Shadow in double action only, or double action mode. So it's light, and you're still getting consistent, reliable primer strikes, which is great. That's what everybody wants. Outside of that, the single action trigger is ridiculous on it. Not much more to say. And you can kind of see, and I just want to show you the muzzle end of the revolver, because when I show you the muzzle end of the revolver that Dave did for me, it's going to be a little bit different. Really outside of that, that's the stock MR73. I know there's plenty of videos that'll walk you through kind of why this is special and what it's about, but no video, in my opinion, really capturing the full beauty of this revolver. And I just wanted to show that off. So with that said, the gun that Dave did for me was a gun I picked up off Gunbroker. It was it was an old French police trade-in, beat to crap revolver that was not in good shape at all. I couldn't tell you how many rounds it had on it, but it was pretty obvious that, from the wear and from the look of it, it had some issues, and I was able to pick it up for, a great price. So I bought the revolver, inspected it, mechanically perfect. Barrel was still great. It was shiny, no issues with the barrel at all. Forcing cone, it needed some work, which Dave also addressed for me. So with that said, let me show you the MR73 that Dave Laubert got, customized, reworked, and I think you guys will be like, wow. So with that said, one of a kind, Dave Laubert MR73. So let's kind of talk about some of the work that Dave did to this gun and why it's special. So first thing Dave did was get the revolver and remove the barrel. This started out as a 4-inch gun, took the barrel off the gun. He then cut it down to a 3-inch gun. So complete chop on the barrel. And from there, he installed a new front sight. So this is a fabricated, one-of-a-kind front sight with gold bead. It's serrated. So can't really see those serrations very good through my video, which I apologize about, but the front sight is perfectly functional and amazing. He then slab sighted. So you can kind of see here where that round stops and hits a flat and goes straight across. So it just gives it another dimension of beauty and awesomeness. So that thing, the barrel on this is just stunning. I mean, I really can't say enough about this. When people see this thing, they're like, damn, dude, that's awesome. And then finally he cut that crown on the front of the barrel, and it just looks like, it looks like a hand cannon. The thing is just ridiculously cool. So once the barrel was removed, cut down, new front sight, recessed, slab sighted, we can kind of work our way back. I also asked Dave to completely remove any of the roll markings that were on the gun except for Made in France. So there is no Manurhin logo anywhere on the revolver. There's no markings anywhere on here that say 38 or 357 or any of that stuff. It's just a completely naked revolver, which to me, I'm a big fan of that clean look. people see this, they have no idea what it is. They're like, what the hell is that? Is that a Smith & Wesson? No, holy cow, I've never seen anything like it. That gun is beautiful. The finish on it is just amazing. So let's talk about the finish. So Dave, obviously full polish back to factory standards. However, on the flutes of the revolver, on the top strap of the revolver, and on the bottom, those are glass bead blasted, which gives it a nice sheen. However, it's not that mirror reflection that you're seeing on the rest of the revolver, which gives it, again, just another dimension, sets it off, and just makes it look ridiculously awesome in terms of the aesthetics of the thing. From there, he also took these small, these small parts, these small little screws, and in Nitre Blued them, which again just gives it a little bit of contrast, which just makes it it's beautiful. Outside of the finish, let's look at this rear sight. So typically on a police trade-in or a Manurhin that was being carried in France, the top of this moving back into the rear sight was very Smith & Wesson Model 10 like, where you had a channel from here back with a little U-notch for, grab the front sight and start pulling the trigger type of thing. Although the Manurhin is legendary for its accuracy and the standards of testing that these revolvers went through, in my opinion, if you wanted to really shoot one of these accurately, that rear notch Smith & Wesson Model 10 rear sight was not adequate to do that. So I asked Dave to construct something, fabricate something, think of something outside of the box where he could put a traditional U-notch serrated sight on this so I can accurately shoot. And you can kind of see how that works. If you look at the top and what Dave did, it's so well thought out. This is a complete fabrication in terms of a whole new rear sight system where Dave took the front sight channel, milled it back just a bit more, made it a little bit wider, and then made a one-piece rear sight that he could lock down in that channel, securing it perfectly. And this thing is solid, guys. It's not going to move. It doesn't move at all. It is locked down to the revolver, making it almost integral now with the revolver. So it is awesome. I can't say enough about what Dave did on that. Lastly, he charged all the all the cylinder holes, just making it much easier to get your rounds in and out, all that kind of good stuff. And then just some extra little goodies. Instead of strawing the hammer and the trigger, Dave went ahead and got them case color hardened, which just gives it, a little bit different look. Again, it goes against the traditional Manurhin MR73 look, but at the same time, I think, it flows perfectly. Single action on this, gosh, I can't even tell you. It's got to be, a pound. And double action, again, I don't know, lighter than a CZ Shadow 2. But fully adjustable. So right now I got this was tuned down to be pretty much as light as you can get it in double action without, causing any reliability issues, because you can tune this down to as light as you want, but the hammer is just not going to hit the primers hard enough to, ignite and fire the rounds if you go much lighter. Outside of that, no carry grips. These grips are hands down the most comfortable and nicest grips that I've ever held in terms of a revolver. Nicer than the target sights on the the other Manurhin that I just showed you guys. Nicer than really anything else that for me I've ever held in terms of a revolver. Haven't gotten into Korth or any of that stuff, but these are incredibly comfortable, ergonomic. They just fit your hand like a glove. Really not much else to say other than completely ridiculous and awesome. Outside of that, just some internal goodies that, I'm not really going to get into. This thing is my personal favorite revolver that I've ever owned. I've never seen anything else like it. And, not much else to say other than big shout out to Dave Laubert for the work done on the gun. I wish I had some before pictures to show you guys in this video. I just don't. But I mean, talk about a complete transformation from, a beat up, used, old carry gun that, some guy in France or some police officer in France was carrying to a one-of-a-kind special revolver. It doesn't get much better than this. I will post some links to some write-ups that I've had and documented on different forums on the internet that will walk you through before and after pictures, work that Dave did to the revolver, just so you can kind of see the amount of time and effort that went into this gun. And it will definitely give you an additional level of appreciation for what I just showed you. Like, subscribe, comment, any feedback that you have outside of script, hey, script and stop saying, I got all that, right? But I'm not a script guy. I'm not going to go ahead and write bullet points and all that stuff. I'm literally just going to talk off the top of my head on what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing and just go from there. It's kind of what makes my videos a little bit unique versus, all well laid out and all that kind of crap. I'm not a video editor. I'm not a guy that's trying to monetize a channel or any of that stuff. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Looking forward to comments, looking forward to, any thoughts on this. But, if you guys are looking for a gunsmith who is capable of doing unbelievable work at a very affordable rate without a insanely long wait time, hit Dave from Defensive Creations up, have a conversation with him, tell him Bobby C sent you, tell him you saw the MR73, whatever. Looking for a 1911 that's just, as good as it gets, hit him up. Want some revolver work, hit him up. Again, can't say enough good things about him. Pretty consistent in terms of wait time and, being true to, quotes and all that stuff. So, not much else to say other than, hope you guys, again, had a blessed Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys got a chance to spend it with family and friends. And stay on the lookout for some additional videos. I'll be posting some stuff up. Thanks, guys.